Hello guys, this is chemistry and today we are going to be talking about mole of a substance. Now what is the mole of a substance? Mole of a substance is the amount of the substance that contains as many particles as there are in one atom of 12 grams of carbon 12. Now that is the conventional definition for mole of a substance, but I want to be very basic. You understand? Mole of a substance is actually a unit of measuring amount. Yes, it's a unit. You understand? It's a unit of measuring amount of a substance. And again is that the coefficient of the formula of a substance determines the number of mole of that substance. For instance, this is magnesium. This is formula for magnesium. So this is magnesium and the coefficient here is 1. You understand? But it's invisible. So you can say that this is 1 mole of magnesium atom. You understand? So if I should change the coefficient to say something like 6, then you can call this 6 moles of magnesium. So that is it, and it's the same for every other substance, being it element or compound. So the number of mole of a substance is the coefficient of its formula. So that is it. Then another thing I want to say is that 1 mole of every substance contains the molar mass of that substance. 1 mole of every substance contains the molar mass of that substance. So what does this thing mean? It simply means that the mass of 1 mole of anything is known as molar mass. Yes, for instance, this is sodium, 1 mole of sodium, right? So the mass of this, the mass of 1 mole of sodium, that is what we call molar mass. And we are telling you that 1 mole of every substance contains its molar mass. So that's what it means. So again, is that 1 mole of a gas, 1 mole of a gas contains its molar volume. 1 mole of a gas contains its molar volume. So what does this thing mean? It's very simple. It means that the volume that can be occupied by 1 mole of a gas is known as molar volume, and that volume is usually constant for all gases. You understand? It's constant for all gases, and the value is 22.4 dm cube or 22,400 cm cube. You understand? So this is the volume that can be occupied by 1 mole of a gas. And again, 1 mole of a substance contains what you call Avogadro's number. It's Avogadro's number or Avogadro's constant. So what does this thing mean? It's very simple. This thing simply means that the number of particles contained by 1 mole of a substance is equal to this. So this is 1 mole of sodium. The particles of sodium are atoms. So this is telling you that 1 mole of sodium contains this number of atoms. You understand? So if you have something like maybe something like this is a salt. You understand? And the particles of salt are ions. So this thing simply means that 1 mole of this salt contains this number of ions. It's just as simple as that. So you can now say if 1 mole is equivalent to molar mass, 1 mole is equivalent to molar volume, and then 1 mole is also equivalent to Avogadro's number. So you can say that molar mass is equivalent to molar volume. You understand? And then equivalent to Avogadro's number. So it's just as simple as this. And then with this you can solve most of the calculations that has to do with mass volume relationship. So for instance, you have a question like this, and then the question says find the mass of 5 cm cube of nitrogen gas. It's just as simple as that. Now when you look at the question, you have parentheses where the relative atomic mass of nitrogen is 4, the molar volume of a gas is 22.4 dm cube. So how do you solve a problem like this? So the first thing that you will note is that you were given the volume of nitrogen and you are asked to find the mass of the same nitrogen. You understand? So it's a comparison between mass and volume. You understand? So it's very simple. How are you actually going to handle this? So the first thing, since it's a comparison between mass and volume, you remember that molar mass is actually equivalent to molar volume. Molar mass is equivalent to molar volume. So you ask yourself, what is the molar mass of nitrogen? You understand? Now nitrogen is diatomic. Like nitrogen is written like this. It contains 2 atoms. Nitrogen is actually a molecule, but it contains 2 atoms. So that's what I mean when I say that it is diatomic. So the relative atomic mass of nitrogen is 14. So you want to know the molar mass, you have to multiply this 14 by these 2. And when you do that, you are going to have 20. That is 14 times 2. You are going to have 28. You understand? That is the molar mass of nitrogen. And we are saying that it is equivalent to the molar volume of nitrogen. And molar volume is always constant, 22.4 dm cube or 22,400 cm cube. However, since this volume, the volume in the question is given in cm cube, the molar volume that we are going to use, that is the molar volume that we are going to use, is going to be in cm cube. You understand? So we are saying that molar mass is equivalent to molar volume. That was what we said. So if that becomes the case, what mass of the same nitrogen is going to be contained in 5 cm cube of the same nitrogen. So if 28 gram of nitrogen is inside 22,400 cm cube of nitrogen, then what mass is going to be in 5 cm cube of the same nitrogen? So you are going to cross multiply. This times this is going to give you 22,400 m equal to 5 times 8. So that is 5 times 8 is going to give you 40. You write 0. You write 0, you carry 4. Then 5 times 2 is going to give you 10 plus 4. That's 14. So you have something like this. So your mass is going to be equal to 140 over 22,400. So it's just as simple as this. So I want you to use your calculator, punch the answer, and then drop it in the comment section. Thank you for your audience.